Welcome to the CFG Game Cast, episode number 190, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers who like to discuss the latest game topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on the Saturdays and release it on all podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love, do us a favor, and give us a follow, like, or subscribe to our Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Kick, or any other streaming services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, David Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Hi, buddies. Not too much. I didn't play too much, like we kind of said earlier. I've been recuperating still, but I'm starting to get my energy back, and I've done something nice for myself. I've started getting regular massages, and it's been really lovely. I've also been taking care of my body, and I got some epidural injections in my hips so I could start going to the gym again, because you can't really work out if you can't stand on your feet for 10 minutes at a time, you know? So I'm taking care of myself and played some what did we play this week? Oh, we played Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm still really good at Killer, still really suck at Survivor. I also played a little bit more of Mr. Hop's Playhouse 3, which of course was delightful. And then last night we played just amongst friends, played some Demonologist and had a blast. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of new updates in the game that I was excited to finally test out that I didn't even know about. So it was fun. So yeah, just kind of been chilling.
Yeah, that's very cool. I didn't even, that's pretty cool. I didn't really notice that you didn't stream this. Did you stream at all this week?
I did. I streamed on Tuesday. That's when we played Texas Chainsaw, but it was a short stream because I had woken up at 5 a.m. to get epidural injections. And yeah, I'm kind of like on a medicine timer. And so I was really stretching my medicine out, but like 8 p.m. hit. I was like, I gotta go, y'all. I'm so tired. And I raided Doss, and he's like, play one match with me. I was like, okay. I died like immediately. I was like, oh man.
I'm out.
It was so good to see you. Okay, bye.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, I can't believe it. My ultimate best way, my best work, and it's just like it just foiled again. Okay. But hey, Lex.
Yeah.
You know who's finally back from his trip to Nintendo and PAX West this week?
I do. It's Opie. No, I'm just kidding. It is.
The 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What is going on, my dude?
Oh, it's been busy. It's been busy since we got back. PAX West is absolutely amazing. Had a ton of fun. Got some great interviews. Got to try out Mario Wonder. Check out Nintendo Live. The city of Seattle as a whole was super chill and legit. I got to see people that I knew from like either I had been on podcasts with them, my friend Baron of the Level 1 podcast. We got to meet Aaron as well, briefly, who does the Feel and Film. He's a film reviewer and podcaster. Got to see him. Leanna Rupert, the community manager for Destiny 2 or Destiny, and she totally remembered me from Twitter, which was crazy.
From Twitter? Wow.
Yes, dude. And Girls Who Play, I saw them. I ran into them a couple different times and stuff like that. I got to tell them I love their stuff. And then we bumped into Phil Spencer.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, snap.
It was leaving Nintendo Live, and we had walked out, and like we walked by, like, dude, like, is that Phil Spencer? Like, and then we were outside, and we heard somebody else like be like, was that Phil Spencer? I was like, dude, that was totally Phil Spencer. So we went, and like it said no re-entry. It was like, look, dude, like that's Phil Spencer. Is there any way we can just go back? I'm gonna ask if I can get a photo with them real quick. They're like, you just left? I was like, yeah, you're like, yeah, I remember seeing you guys. Go ahead, go for it. So I go, and I don't ever do this kind of thing. Yeah, and that was super legit. I totally don't ever do this. I straight up like interrupted the man in the middle of his conversation.
Wow, you're a dick.
Spencer, right? I know, I was really a dick about it. Like, I mean, there's a hesitation. I didn't like immediately do it. I went there, and like his people were like there, and like he was talking to this lady, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. You're Phil Spencer, right? I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I was just wondering if we can get a picture with you real quick. You're like, all right, yeah, real quick. But yeah, and I wanted to be like, hey, come on our show.
Look
But
at
I
that.
didn't. It was just cool the fact that he stopped to take a picture, and I was totally a dick about it and interrupted this conversation. I did
You're with
apologize though.
you were with Sham though too, right?
Sham, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, is that Sham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
hilarious.
Quinn had left that morning, and Zhao was at the convention with his nephew. So I was like, hey, but Sham said that they were available. So I was like, yeah, if you're down for it, let's do it. We got a tour, and then the interview. We got to play Mario Wonder, which we are absolutely getting that game. Up to 4 players can play. We got a little piece of it, but we were having a blast.
It looks like fun, dude. It's like old school classic. I like the fact that it's not the Mushroom Kingdom; it's a different kingdom completely.
Right.
It's a I forgot what it is. I think it's the Fire Flower Kingdom or something like that. And it's like a caterpillar that runs the world, that area. But no, I definitely want to check it out though. It looks really, really good. For it.
So overall, I thought PAX West. I had more fun in PAX West than I did PAX East.
And that's not saying that PAX East. It's not saying that being
PAX East is bad. At all, because I had a blast in Boston. But everything about the city and everything, like the weather was all nice. Actually, dude, I was sweating bullets the entire time I was.
It was that humid or that hot,
dude? It was that humid, man. It was like New York style. Like you get out of the shower and you instantly start sweating. Like I didn't have to put on lotion like the whole time, dude.
Oh wow.
It was wild. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to definitely check. Yeah,
I'm sitting there going for interviews, just like, oh, so sorry about me, like dripping sweat.
I really want to.
Looking like a psycho, dude.
I really want to go. I really want to go. I'm gonna go next year, dude. Like PAX West is the one that I'm definitely wanting to go to next year. I think it was like I knew it was going to be better than the one in East. But to be fair, when we went to East, this was like the beginning of the easement of the pandemic
pandemic stuff.
So
exactly. Well, that's what they were saying, and multiple people had mentioned that this is the first time that PAX West has felt like PAX West in years. So they definitely, and you can notice it. I mean, it was packed, dude. But
on Saturday, I heard it was really packed.
Yeah, and they had multiple. I mean, it's multiple buildings, and like, dude, I mean, it was just so many people there.
Well,
so
this is your first time. Great. This is your first time at the Seattle convention. Oh, I'm sorry. You were going to say something, Lex. What were you going to say?
Nope, I wasn't. I'm just listening.
Okay, sorry. But I would say this. I think that this is your first time going to the Seattle Convention Center, right? So like,
yeah.
And this is a brand new one. This is the one the where PAX was being done. This was just finished this year. This is the very first year of the new convention.
And old one, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like that convention center. It's a very nice open area because it's like multiple buildings that's around in a giant circle that goes over.
Floors,
yeah,
it's freaking.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy, but it's a great it's a great place, great convention center. I will say, I like.
No, it was dope, and they utilized the space beautifully. The fact that there's literally multiple locations that you could go to get different experiences and stuff like that. And to boot, you also had Nintendo Live happening on one part of the older convention that was basically interconnected with PAX. There's different passes to be able to go into it and whatnot, but easily you're able to visit both and in the same experience, which I thought was fantastic. Yeah,
that's awesome, dude.
That was the first time Nintendo Live was in the United States.
I didn't know that.
Was there? Yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know. Yes. I thought it was something new that they just decided to make on their own. I didn't know that this existed.
No, so
before.
It's been in Japan. It's been in Japan for years, and there's one coming up in January in Japan. But yeah, this is the first time that they had Nintendo Live in the States, Seattle being the home of Nintendo America.
Yeah, fair enough.
Nintendo of America.
Well, you know what that means. So Smitty is going to Japan in January.
Yep. I would love to. I would love to. Let me justify that.
Smitty is coming home.
I'm coming home, baby. Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be great. That would be great.
What about you, man? How was your week? How was your weekend, brother?
Man, I guess it was just a week. Yes. It's been pretty busy. I've been doing had to do a lot of adult stuff, man. Like just making sure, like, because like I said, I'm losing my job at the end of the month, so then I need to. Right. So I've been going to so many different kinds of interviews and stuff like that, as well as been studying for testing and everything. It's just ridiculous. It's just like it's been ridiculous. But somehow, with my busy schedule of adulting, I would have been able to also keep up my facade of playing more Baldur's Gate 3, which I have been destroying in that game. It's actually kind of funny. We're starting to call it liberating when we go and clear out areas and stuff. So, so we're like, okay, we got to this spot and everything. So like me and my friend, we've just been going place to place, and we just been clearing everything out and just doing all different kinds of storylines and stuff. And then also I just released I talked to Amelia Tyre. I don't even know if I told you this, but like so like I told you, we were talking to the narrator of Baldur's Gate 3 that we're going to release the interview, which we have done on confreaksandgeeks.com. You can go check out the full interview on our YouTube page or on our main website. I got an email from Larian thanking us doing that interview, and I was like, oh wow, cool. Y'all weren't even we weren't even a part of it. And then they were offering if we wanted to go talk to other people within the cast, and I was like, not gonna say no to that. It's like, you know, absolutely. So I was just like, freaking A, dude. Hell yeah. So hopefully we'll see if I can find some more, get some more full. The person I wanted to talk to was Amelia Tyler, and she was amazing. I loved that. Yeah, I love that chat. Probably I would have to say the best interview I've done out of the podcast, all the podcast episodes I've done
you
yet.
Mean your favorite? Your favorite?
No, I think it was the best. I think it's the best. I think I'll take it. Like, don't get me wrong. I like all. I mean, I have a great time with all of them. But if I had number one, it was definitely that one. It was really cool. So it was really, really fun. So there you go. Nice. Yeah, I'm sorry if she is very delightful, I will definitely say. So I know y'all don't want to be talking about me gushing over Amelia Tyler, so let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion of the world of video games through the previous week. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry itself, and we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners, our viewers on Twitch, on YouTube, Facebook, Kick, to be a part of the conversation as always. So so if there's something you wanting to talk about or what we were talking about, no, that didn't make any sense, but you can chime in and type it inside the chat as always, and we will discuss it with you, the viewers of this podcast, this awesome show. So let's get this party started. I will go first this time around, and I want to talk about E3 once again. So E3 just can't get a break in general, essentially, from what like everything is going on with it. So basically what is going on is that E3 is just as you know, E3 this year was supposed to happen, was supposed to go through ReedPop this year, and was supposed to have a nice show, but apparently E3 got canceled because ReedPop was having troubles getting people, vendors and stuff like that to come to this show. So literally like a month before the show was supposed to happen, they canned it. They 86'd it. They said, hey, we're not going to have the show. It's not going to happen again. So originally the ReedPop had a plan for E3 for like a contract to be doing E3 events for about I think it was a 3 or 4 year contract. Unfortunately, that is not the case, not anymore. So it was official today that E3 has nixed E3 and ReedPop has parted ways mutually. So what they're going, also what E3 also did, which is surprisingly enough, the name of the people that did it, ESA, they were also the ones that were, that also decided that they're not going to renew the venue spot for the Los Angeles Convention Center, which E3 has usually goes to or has been through its history there. They've been to other places, but they've been at this area the longest for literally over like 20 years when they did do the shows. So I'm gonna pull a report about I don't know what happened to my thing, but I lost it. Hold on, give me one moment. And okay,
so
here we go.
Sad to see that to see such a. I mean, and they had worked together for some time.
Not even that.
Too, you know.
No, not even no time at all. Like that's the problem. The problem was that they've only been this deal only happened for what 14 months. Not even a year.
Oh, that
a
was
little
the
bit
first
over a
time
year.
that they were working with them.
That was the very first time that they were working with them.
Oh.
Yeah.
ReedPop does PAX, right?
Yeah. ReedPop does PAX.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is that so the whole thing with them was that they were supposed to do this year. This was supposed to be their inaugural year, but then and they decided to shut it down. So ReedPop comes out, ESA comes out, and they basically made a statement today or the other day saying that we appreciate ReedPop's partnership for over the past 14 months and support their ongoing efforts to bring industry and fans together through various events. That's the president and CEO of ESA saying that, Stanley Pierre-Louis. This was in a statement from GameIndustry.biz, which ironically, ReedPop, E3 owns that. So they said, while the reach of E3 remains unmatched in our industry, we are continuing to explore how we can evolve it to best serve the video game. Continue to serve the video game industry, and are evaluating every aspect to the event, from format to location. We are committed to our roles as a convenor. I don't know. That's a weird word. Convenor. I don't know. For the I didn't even know that's a word. That's weird. CONVENOR. Convenor. I don't know. For the industry.
Convener.
Convener. Okay,
Maybe?
Convener. Okay, we'll go with that. For the industry, and look forward to sharing news about E3 in the next coming of months. Okay, so first off, I feel like it's a little. I have to call bullshit on one small thing about that, and then saying that that they said while the reach of E3 remains unmatched in our industry. I'm like, y'all are having a hard time bringing people in your venue, your venue, or justifying your venue for developers to come to your show. That's not saying that you're unmatched. It's saying that they're saying they don't need you. That's the problem. That's the problem with it. So y'all need to change. Y'all need to change somehow. And as opposed to you're saying that you have ReedPop, who has a PAX event on the East, West, Australia, and also they had a fourth show, and you're telling me that your show was that's leading it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to call BS. Most people were already fed up with the BS that y'all were dealing with, to a point that Microsoft, Xbox, and Nintendo decided to say, hey, we're not doing this show anymore. We're gonna do an event around the show that you're doing it around, but we're not affiliating ourselves with you anymore because of the way y'all were running this thing. So y'all need to fix that. That's the biggest problem. Second thing, y'all have not been able to make a physical show ever since the pandemic even started. It's been 3 years now. It's been 3 years. You tried to do a virtual event. You did one virtual event. No, two virtual events. The second virtual event didn't go really well. Then y'all decided not to do another virtual event, and y'all still haven't to this day been able to get back on your feet. And so there's I think there's other issues that you need to fix before you're saying that you're needing to pivot. And I think you're going the right direction of doing things like not being at the Los Angeles Convention Center, because me personally, I hate that place personally, but it's the event, but the things that y'all, the decisions that y'all made, I think the biggest decision is that you turned everyone the wrong way when you decided to bring the public pass inside here, and you decided to lose the identity of what E3 was. So y'all need to sit down, figure out what the deals are itself. And plus, y'all haven't been able to find an organizer for this, for the organizers y'all were with for the longest of time. You backed out, y'all kicked them out. Then you had another organizer less than a year, that y'all kicked them out, and then ReedPop is the third one, and ReedPop didn't even get a chance to do it because they're realizing how much of a dumpster fire it is. So yeah, so this stuff needs to be figured out. I mean, so I just want to get y'all's takes on this. What y'all think?
Well, Mr. Seven Figure says Sony started a trend, I guess, but I would go back to saying that Nintendo really is the one. Nintendo has always done their own thing, and they've been proof in the pudding that you can run your own events and people will show up to watch them, and you have more control. You're spending less budget, so they should have, like, in my opinion, like, they became obsolete, or at least that motto. And I definitely think the open public pass made it much less effective. If that's all they were doing, then they could do it on their own, like I said, for those advantages, and not have to go and deal with the shenanigans of that show. So I don't know. I mean, it's more telling to me that they're going through these organizers, especially a group like ReedPop, who has shown you that they are successful wherever they go. Like, you burn through them in 14 months and say, nah, we're not going to do it. Like, there's something going on there, like, that they haven't figured it out. But you're right, that is a good step. That, you know, and I've never been to the LA Convention Center, but LA is just a busy city in general. Like, I feel like I'm less I feel less of a want to go because I don't want to deal with the city and its shenanigans.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? Which is it's just a pain in the ass. So I feel like, you know, even if they were to look at like a Las Vegas, or like you said, like a Salt Lake City, somewhere that gives a little bit of breathing room. But again, I don't know what they do, because they can't continue doing what they were doing before. It's just the landscape has changed. It's a new age. It's different. So I don't know really what you do to be able to capture that magic back and show that value for people to want to go and be a part of that show and also attend it.
Yeah, I know we've discussed E3 a million times on here, and I've always said that E3 was my favorite out of all of the show me what's coming out
Mm.
and what's going on behind the scenes. I've always really enjoyed E3. Now, does no, I don't want to do that right now. Thank you. Update. Get out of here. I I I think Smitty's right. I think that shows that there's clearly something going on the back end. 14 months. You guys signed like a 3 to 4 year contract with them. Is that what you said, Davis? A 4 year
Yeah,
contract?
it was a
That's
multi-year
wild.
contract, and then
So
they decided to both break it.
right. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to break a contract like that with big companies. We're not talking like a couple $100. Um, Something's definitely going on. And I'm curious, did Reed break the contract or
No,
did
it's mutual. They
E3 break?
mutually left.
They
They
left?
mutually,
Okay.
yeah, they mutually split. They're not like in trouble or anything. They just thought that they were
Okay.
both better to split
Better
apart.
off. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's wild.
All right.
isn't it?
It was amicable. Cool.
Mhm.
Still, I feel obviously like you said, ReedPop is a company that knows what they're doing and they know how to run things. And if they and E3 came together and were like, this is just not a good fit,
Mm.
something weird and something fishy to me means something's going on, right? Like my alarm bells go off immediately. Am I missing E3? No. Did I like it? Yeah, I enjoyed E3. Again, as far as someone who needs to report to you guys what's going on in the gaming space, if I have to choose, do I want to watch, you know, Ubisoft or E3? I'm going to pick E3. And that's
Mm-hmm.
same with Nintendo, PlayStation. I would rather watch E3 just because the way that they present things has always caught my attention, right? I don't want to be falling asleep while I'm watching this, which has happened. I have sat here with these two watching what's coming out from a company, a big name
6
company,
hours.
and I'm dozing off and like messaging them behind the scenes, like, I gotta go. Like, I
Well,
need a nap now. You know what I
well,
mean?
here's the thing. Well, here's the thing, though, and this is what I think it is. I mean, it sucks because, like, I guess I'm the only one out of the three of us that's actually went to E3, but I went to the last physical E3. I went to the last physical one back in 2019, and I had a lot of like, it was like your experience with PAX West was what I had at E3 back then, and then what E3 was. And I don't know how many times I've said it before, was perfect for writers, reviewers, podcasters, all the people that were in the industry, like press industry, to get shit done. And what made it worse is that I think they lost its identity. The problem is because like what ReedPop was trying to introduce with this E3 was that they were going to there were going to be press days. Because like for me, I was excited about. Exactly. I was excited on the fact that they're going to have press days and they were going to have the public like the last 2 days. Then and I knew what I was going to do. I was going to be there just for the press days and bounce at the just leave on the public days. And I thought that's a fair balance. I guess the problem was like with especially with like all the other stuff was that now you're at a point where studios didn't justify the cost for them to go to the show to do all of that again because like because of the pandemic and because of the other stuff. But to say that there isn't a spot or a place for that, I just can't believe that there is. I mean, that there isn't, because like, dude, Tokyo Game Show is like the one, like for instance, in September, that's actually should be coming, I believe either this weekend or next weekend, is one of the craziest events physically for press. And then they do it, I mean, and things like that. And just to do it, I just feel that E3 itself can do it, but I think the real question is like, has their name been slandered in the mud to a point where that companies won't take a second look at it again? Is because like you said, PAX is done. Like PAX can run successful gaming shows. They've run it for like over a decade. Well, shoot, not even a decade, like 15 or 16 years now. And I just think that it's just ridiculous that these issues that E3 has, it's always usually a common issue. It's always like an outside party. They're just not working well with an outside party. ESA, I think it's just something with the ESA itself that just doesn't play well with what they want to make the show, because they don't know what show they're wanting to make. Is what my guess would be. So
yeah,
I mean, hopefully they change it for the better. They move it to somewhere else. They do something else. To do something to incentivize people to come back to that show. Show is the big thing.
Personally, I think that they should lead into the indie game, create a whole separate thing or something like that, where they just lean into that and make it more about that stuff. Because again, the big dogs don't have to play; they can do their own shows. They are doing their own shows, so that's not an expectation that they should have, that they should feel, that they should cater to or curtail what they're trying to do as a whole. I think they go a separate direction and do something different that's going to create the same kind of buzz, but also give value to these studios as well as media people that are in the industry and whatnot. Make it something like that, man. I feel like for them to even get any kind of footing, they need to make a shift, because trying to do the same thing ain't gonna work.
Not working.
It's a wrap, son. Move on. Move on from it. And you got to shift now. You got to shift and adapt.
I agree. Mr. Seven Figures in chat is saying maybe a rebranding and overhaul is in order. I say call it E4 and fire the management. Hey, not a bad idea. I love Smitty's idea for indie.
E4.
That makes me happy. E4.
That would be sick, right?
Yeah.
What does E3 stand for, though?
Electronic something expo.
Okay.
I'm Googling.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was I know
Electronic Entertainment Expo. That's what it means. Yeah.
And it's 3.
Yeah.
Now,
we can't just call it E4. There's a
E4.
reason for it.
You can't call it. You can't call it E4. You call it extra electronic. Extra there you go. Energetic, I don't know.
There you go, E3. There's your thing. You're welcome. You're welcome. We'd like passes, please.
Yes. We want passes for life.
Unlimited access to everybody on the show floor.
Please.
Yeah.
I don't
We just made it $1 billion idea. So you need to give us for passes for life. That's exactly what that is. Yeah, so no.
Royalty.
Yeah, that would be perfect. That would be perfect, man. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like E3 itself, I really want to see what they're going to do. They said they're going to do a show. Right now, it's not confirmed, but they haven't canceled their show for 2024. But they did cancel their venue, so I don't know what to think of that. So we don't know like what and they are saying that they're going to be doing a major rehaul for 2025. So I don't know what to be honest with you, I really at this point, if E3 isn't there, I don't know what the ESA exists for at this point. Besides, I guess what GameIndustry.biz. I guess I don't know what they're there for anymore, because like that's the only show that they do. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So I don't know. So but let's hope that they get their bearings straight. Hopefully they have a plan on what they're planning on doing in the near future. And I would love to see another show like this. It's mostly like if a press show event. I don't want to be like, like a dick about it, but more like, like a private event.
He doesn't want to hang out with the muggles. That's what he said.
Shut the hell up. I didn't say that. Dude, it's so annoying. Okay? It's so... I'm just saying,
common folk, please.
It's so annoying. You are making me look like the bad guy. I do not appreciate that. But
I feel the same.
Yeah,
way. I feel the same. Way.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's an industry show where you're able to do that and get in, and you know what I mean. Like you have way more access to stuff. You're able to get in depth with things in terms of coverage and whatnot. And you get a lot more access to these folks.
Oh,
it's
for sure.
It's super important.
Well, and the scheduling is so much tighter, and you don't have to worry about them getting pulled here and there during public days. Like as press, you do have those time slots, and granted, they're not concrete. Like if things go over a little bit here and there, but it's not as big of a deal. And so
I remember,
I agree.
I remember because like the problem was like when you have a public event going at the same time as a business, kind of when you're trying to do your work, your physical work, you just have lines, like ridiculous lines to places that you're like that's blocking you to get to your destinations and stuff. And the Los Angeles Convention Center is not, and it's not a small place. It's like it's ridiculous on where you need to go. That some places are not even inside the convention center; they're across the street, or they're in the hotels that's nearby and stuff like that. It's just nightmarish with all that stuff overall. So like, but. Yeah, I would love I would love that. That's why it really kicked me that I didn't go to PAX. I really wanted to go to PAX West this year. I felt that it was going to be a perfect experience. It'd be just straight up talking and chilling with these with other folks and developers and stuff like that in the back end side.
It was pretty dope.
Yeah, so we'll see. Okay. Oh, well, we'll see where it's going to go. I'm definitely keeping an eye on it, and we'll go from there. Lex.
My turn.
It is your turn. What are you bringing to the table?
Well, it's not really enough around and find out. Sorry, guys. Maybe next week. But I always find it interesting, and we've discussed this before previously with, other voice actors that play a big part in a game, being brought into conversations that really don't have much to do with them, and or at all, really, and B for it's so weird, right? So I'm gonna say his name wrong, and I'm so sorry. Elias Tifu, is that wrong? That's probably wrong.
Wow.
Better known as a Starfield voice actor. Opie, are you okay? So he plays the voice of Sam Coe and the Do X series Adam Jensen. So if you've listened
the
to
Deus Ex? Oh, I didn't know he was doing that.
There you go. That's the character's name, but Elias T. I'm gonna call him just because I'm so sorry, and I get it. My last name gets butchered all the. I took French, and to me that seems like it would be.
We got two random words that come in. We got convene. Convene. Is it convene? Convene the people.
You put an ER at the end of it.
Convener.
That's
anyways.
That's how you would say it. We're learning English today, guys. Get on in. Right. So, we all know, this aside, the conversation of what's better, PlayStation or Xbox. It's been a conversation for years. I, along with the person who wrote this article, very clearly thought that fight was over, but apparently not. So, if you guys don't know, Elias T, he is the voice of Sam Coe in Starfield. Now, if your thought is, how did he get brought into conversations for gaming? Is it homophobia? That's what I would have thought, because his character is bisexual. Now, that's not necessarily what happened. He ended up getting stuck in a comment crossfire on Twitter, of course, last week to vent about all the weird guys who were bugging him. So essentially, this guy is tweeting at people every time that they would mention Starfield. This guy would say 30 frames per second. That's all he would post. Any Starfield tweet, 30 frames per second. And it would just go on and on and on. And he's being tagged. Why are you tagging the voice actor? What does he have to do with the 30 frames per second? I don't know, but here we are. So Elias is like, why is this guy tweeting at me 30 frames per second? I don't understand. So Elias says, I go to this guy's page. He tweeted 30 frames per second on anything that says Starfield. 30 frames per second on everything. I'm like, this must have taken you an hour. A short search turned up 30 frames per second Bandit's record of madness, and it kind of felt like the all work and no play bit from The Shining. Mr.
So wait,
T cited.
Is he basically saying because that the game is only running at 30 frames per second, that it's just like it's a non-starter, I'm not going to play it because it's 30 frames per second, or is he just trolling everyone and just letting people know, it's like just putting their own stupid thing out there about?
Great question.
I
don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
He's got to be trolling.
I would assume as much, but it seems like the conversation of Xbox or PlayStation kind of plays a role into this. So Mr. Mr. T, Elias, I'm so sorry, Mr. T.
Oh, that's great.
He has cited commentary online as getting him down, and in the day since we talked to Mr. T, has butt heads with homophobic players, etc., who take issue with his character Sam Coe being bisexual, right? So again, this seems to be a trend, whether it's a TV person and they're playing a character on your favorite show, and that person in the comics or the cartoon happened to be white, is now black. We know that people freak out, and of course they get the actor involved, which again has nothing to do with them.
Right.
All the same, this sort of behavior is pretty standard. It's expected in online pop culture discussions, more or less now, right? And Mr. T said he thinks that the right thing is to just ignore it. I would disagree with him in some cases, even though the 30 frames per second guy drew a response from him. Later down the line, his commentary just became, I'm sorry you're like this. I wish you weren't. I would love it if you came back and said, you know what? That game was actually really fun. But of course, that's not the case. But Mr. Elias T said, for me, the most insulting thing, you don't know how hard these guys worked on this. You don't know what these guys want. You don't know that these guys want this to be great. We didn't make Starfield or any project to be bad. And that's, of course, the case for any video game or TV, anything, right? The hope is it's not going to be bad and people are going to love it. But obviously 30 frames per second didn't. And again, we've discussed this with other voice actors, other actors in general. I was curious what you guys thought.
This is one of the reasons why I hate the internet, to be honest. Straight up.
Pretty much.
There are people that are just terrible people that don't deserve a platform in the slightest, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So and that totally is just troll stuff, but anybody, because there are people that will go and get malicious about that stuff and start harassing people. The woman that played Abby, what's her name? Trot or am I no.
Oh,
I can't remember who it was. Laura
Abby,
Bailey. I think it was Laura Bailey, right?
Abby from Last of Us?
From The Last of Us 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
She was getting harassed, dude. People are weird, man. Leave people alone, dude.
My God.
It's what the real issue too is that I don't care, man. Why are people console war beefing? It's so dumb. I want to play all the video games. I don't care what console it's on or where it's at. If it's a good game, I want to play it, dude.
If anything, like you would want the competition to raise up the bar anyways, because that's going to be good for our
It's
overall
only
all
good.
consumers. Yeah,
It's good for everybody.
But
Exactly.
Yeah.
people are so weird and angry about the weirdest things. You know what I mean? Like, and I have a hard time wrapping my head around somebody being angry about a platform that you're playing a game on, or exclusivity, or all that stuff that you're just like, dude, like, it's not, people, we've gotten spoiled. I was just talking about this earlier today, I think, how like literally you'd be lucky back in the day if you got 2 video games a year, let alone 1. You know what I mean? So like, there's just too many good games. There's too many games out there for people to be beefing like this. There's room for everybody and everything is changing. So it's such a dumb thing. And like these developers and stuff like that, they have a completely separate mindset. Hence the folks that are like, oh, if what about Xbox loyalty? What about Sony loyalty? Like, I don't owe them shit. They're a company. What are you talking about?
Well, and they're not sitting in a board meeting saying, that guy Smitty, he's been loyal to us for 5 years. We should throw him a bone. That's not happening.
I know, right?
That's not real life.
It's not real life. Well, I mean, the biggest thing I really just don't like is the fact that like the people that are, it's kind of weird because like, well, first to kind of tear this person apart, like FPS is kind of gotten to a point where it's a buzzword. Like, when you say no carbs and you're having a thing of like, you open up a thing of beef jerky, then you realize it's freaking meat. There's obviously no carbs in there because it's not that they don't use carbs. Yeah, it's like, it's same kind of it's the same kind of BS that we're talking about now. There is a time and place for when FPS matters, right? Not all the time. It doesn't necessarily mean 30 FPS is going to make it a bad game. If you're playing a first-person shooter, you do not want to make it 30 FPS because the reaction time is very, very viable. So you want to make it 60 to 120 FPS. But a regular game that is story-driven will have just the same amount of experience than what a 30 FPS would be to a 60 FPS. I don't fucking care at that point, nor should you care to a point to tell everyone else out there to say, I hate this game because it's 30 frames per second. That is a bullshit. Now, now you have a leg to stand on is if Bethesda does it again, saying this game is 60 frames per second, and then they lie to you, and then they say it's 30 frames per second. Sure, do whatever the hell you're wanting to say about that. But at this point, you're already judging a game that you have no freaking idea how this game is until then, and then you're just doing that. You're just spamming the internet. Not what makes it even worse is that you're spamming some of the voice actors, the people that are not even in the grind of the game itself to be nothing to do with it. Yeah, it's nothing to do with it. They see it that they're at the end of the, not necessarily the end, but not at the programmable part of what this game is, and just to troll, just to get a chuckle. I just say F fools like that, man. And my biggest problem I have is just that the facade of the console wars is a public facing thing. Internally, game people within the development, non-existent. Completely. Smitty just said that he saw Phil Spencer at a Nintendo freaking event. Like, what is that? It's not like Nintendo says, keep an APB on Phil Spencer when he's in our thing. He might be stealing some trade secrets from us. No one freaking cares. Like, and stuff like that to this extent. Like, Alana Pierce just found who works for Sony was getting rifted on Twitter because of playing Starfield and saying how good she likes the game. And then I'm like, and then some guy is telling her that she needs to get fired because she's proving it, like she likes the competition's game, and added them to Neil Druckmann and some other person. And I'm just like, what is going on, man?
And here's the kicker with Alana. So even if she has a contract with Sony, right? We know she does. The non-compete doesn't mean that she can't, in her free time, play games on other systems. It's very well known that she is a PC gamer. She's a PC gamer.
Yeah.
Yes, she works for Sony in a capacity, but that has nothing to do with her personal life. And on her personal Twitter account, when she's saying, I'm enjoying Starfield. How about you guys? And some twerp comes in, you should be fired. Really? I'm sure we can look at your Facebook and find stuff that you could be fired about too, but we're not
Yeah.
gonna. Or maybe we
Well, the
will
funny
now.
thing
I don't
though
know.
is that works actually opposite. She can't do things officially for Sony because it would become a conflict of interest. So she can do that stuff for other companies and other games, but not Sony products. So it's like, dude, it's like you clearly have no idea how this works. That's a ridiculous thing to say.
If you think,
normal ass people just like video games. We don't sit there being like, oh, all of a sudden,
I know, right?
I'll never touch it. How dare? Like, that's weird, man. Like, you don't need to be angry.
Can you imagine
Why
you're
are
playing?
people so angry?
He's like, oh, hey, look, the new Gears of War is out. Wait a minute. I work for I work for freaking Sony. Was this gonna I guess I gotta call HR just to make sure this isn't a conflict for me to play this game.
Ridiculous.
Ravage posted, I think a lot of the not terrible troll people.
That?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Ravage saw somebody drink Coors.
You're grounded.
He's done. He just tweeted it.
Drink water,
He gives Voodoo a Twitch clip of him drinking Coors while he's playing. It's like, oh my god. It's like, yes. But Ravage also says, I think a lot of the not terrible troll people who are upset about it think it is a lower quality. Like, why not make it 60 frames for all people are going to pay for it, and how much they promoted it as the best game of the year. Well, for those people, I'm just saying, dude, okay, fine. If 30 frames per second is so easy for you to do it, okay, let's switch it up to 4 FPS. Tell the developers, switch it up to 60 frames per second and just have them do it. It's simple. It's as easy as cakes. You know? I mean, it's just like, no, we don't know what the level of process it would take. Just like, remember, like a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Baldur's Gate was having troubles on the Xbox Series S to do multiplayer.
What if this is part of that issue as well?
That's why
it's only 30 frames.
Yeah, the reason why it's locked at 30 frames is not because they wanted it to be at 30 frames. It's more like there's a reason why. It's because like it's not stable. It could be the thing could tear, it could freaking drop, it could stop. It's like when people put it in the level of simplicity of like, oh, just make it 60 frames. It's just like, dude, it's like, oh, okay. Let me turn on the flip of the switch. Okay, everything's good now. Everyone's good to go to play 60 frames. It's like, no, we don't know that. We don't know the level of what it's going to take for that. There's a legitimate reason why they did it, and I think and then you know what usually it's going to end up happening. When they finally fix it, guess what happens? A patch will come up. Well, they'll say you could do it in performance mode and then do whatever you need to do with it, because there's another issue, because you remember what the Microsoft's biggest thing is: anything that plays on the Series X needs to play on the Series S. Right. There's no way in hell Starfield is going to run 60 frames on the smaller system like the Series S. So like, I'm just saying, people need to calm the frick down with this kind of nonsense, and just kind of give them some sort of level of slack towards this, and not be a PlayStation overlord or an Xbox overlord, or PC master race. Just play the freaking game, dude. Seriously, it's so annoying. I'm sorry.
The other weird thing too is the whole pronoun thing. Like, why is that a thing? I don't understand why that is a thing. It's like, who cares? Yeah. Oh, there's the option to have it or whatever, dude. Like, it's ridiculous to me. Not only that, but people are reviewing this game. Technically, by the stats, this game doesn't even really open up until you're like 130 hours deep into the game. Because again, they want to keep you playing the game. It's about that playtime, and this is an expansive, huge thing. Yeah, there's some issues and stuff like that, dude, but like, this is an RPG space opera lover's freaking dream, at least for me, dude. And like, you can pick up everything, which is terrible, dude. I spend half the time over encumbered. But I'm loving it, dude. Like, I don't understand why people are looking for reasons to hate it.
I don't know. It
doesn't make sense to me, man.
Because people want a reason to hate something because they're miserable in their own lives. We know this to be fact, right? I just think it's funny that we've discussed issues in games that are valid, right? And questions that we have for said developers that have absolutely nothing to do with the voice actor and or actors in this project, yet they're bringing back to the conversation. Their literal internet door is being knocked on nonstop. You know what I
Maniacs.
mean? And that's
Yeah.
stressful. I hate when I get like hundreds of notifications at one time. And this is my job. So you know what I do for my own peace is I turn that down and I turn it off. But
Mhm.
for somebody who's not used to that, who, you know, as a job does voice acting and then are being just nonstop spammed on different platforms, because we know it's not just happening on one, that's
Yeah.
a lot to take in. You know what I mean?
You know, it's
And
funny
that's
though.
not something they signed up for.
Ravage says like before earlier too. He's like, well, that's like a normal Joe Schmo complaining that his Toyota Corolla is in 4-wheel drive. I like that. It's like, oh, hey, it's front wheel drive.
Yeah.
Can you make it a? It's like I hate this car because it's not 4-wheel. It's like, oh, okay,
Right.
that's all. Shoot,
Let me
idiots.
press
But
a button. You know, it's funny.
it's so funny.
Side note, little tiny side note. I recently had to have a discussion with some of my gal pals about where you put your tires if you park on a hill, and they
Mhm.
said, "Why don't you turn the back tires?"
Hmm?
Girls, your back tires don't
Huh?
turn. What do you mean? Yes, they do. Nope, no, they don't. They do not. I had to
If
look
they're
at the
yeah,
in the
if
car and
it,
show
it
them.
depends. Yeah, does it depend on the kind
All-wheel
of car?
though.
It depends on the car because like it's a front wheel, there's a rear wheel, and there's an all wheel, and then there's also a mid rear that also does
I don't even know
that
what
does
that
it.
means.
But most tires don't, because
Yeah,
if you think about it, if they all turned, you would just move sideways instead
yeah.
of the front end of the car turning.
No, you're right.
Makes
You're
sense?
you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant traction, like you like force
No,
traction.
they thought like all four wheels turned.
No.
Oh.
Just the front, girls.
Oh
And they're like,
no.
you know, that's not how that works. It's not
Oh,
gonna
that's
work when you
fantastic.
turn
This
your
ain't a
back
tractor.
tires.
This is.
I was like, maybe your lawnmower does that, which I would be surprised.
That is
but also,
hilarious.
no, yeah.
So what do you think is happening when you take a right hand turn? Like
Girl,
all
that
cars
was
are
my
slow.
question, and the
Oh,
answers
that's
were
funny.
hilarious.
Oh my
I
gosh.
Yeah,
That
I
is
had to
hilarious.
physically draw on paper and then bring them
Yo.
out to the vehicle, and I was like, "Look, let me show you."
That's
Yeah,
funny.
you gotta educate them. Educate them.
That is
That's
hilarious.
right.
Smitty, why don't you close this
Yeah.
off? What are you bringing to the table, buddy?
Yeah. We're gonna close it off on some Roblox news again, especially for those folks that are parents or they have nieces, nephews, whatever. Roblox is huge, especially in the kid space. Roblox essentially has become how kids hang out, communicate, and socialize with themselves. So it's something that me personally, I'm trying to better acquaint myself to better be equipped, as the adult, as my littles get older and use it in different ways. I want to be able to understand it too. So Roblox actually, I believe it was yesterday, just came out with they had their developer conference, and there was some big news that was laid out. The first being that here in October, Roblox is going to be coming to PS4 and PS5 for the first time ever in the franchise history. As we know, it started as a PC and phone app game, and then moved to Xbox, and finally, after this time, or all this time, is moving over to PlayStation, which is going to be huge and an increase, only more of an increase within their player base. And I imagine at some point in time they come to whatever Nintendo has, I'm guessing, as their next generation. So this is pretty huge news in the world of Roblox in terms of them, like I stated, their models. Cause I think there was also talk about their subscription model, or doing a subscription model. Obviously, we know that their in-game currency as well is Robux. But really, I think what they're doing, Roblox is really just a sandbox, and it's a way to get not only kids but also adults to be able to kind of get firsthand look at being able to design games. They can design whatever they want to. I know my daughter, one of her favorite things to do is the RP stuff. A lot of role playing and things like that. And again, like, there's no talk. There is but not in terms of to the general public. Right now, it's just being able to type stuff and whatnot, but they can still friend request each other and things like that. So Roblox coming to PlayStation next month is huge. They've also, speaking in terms of communication, they are also launching an avatar-based voice calls with facial motion tracking. This one, I don't know how I feel about this, y'all. Yes,
Wow.
sir. Yes, this is within Roblox. They also mentioned this at the developer conference. But they said it's near future plans to expand beyond its identity as a game platform for kids. The company is already pushing into new demographics. Roblox announced that it would foster mature content for 17 plus users earlier this year, and a new animated video calling product launching later this year looks to be a part of that plan. It's basically Zoom and like a bit or an emoji or a memoji, basic your avatar in there. So it sees your actual camera, but what the other people see is your avatar. But you're able to it's utilizing your voice, the facial features. So it's also, I don't know what that back end data looks like and what kind of information it's able to, or if somebody is able to pull that information from a call like that. Obviously it's supposed to be for a mature audience, but again, I literally just made another account so my daughter could try out the Roblox beta on Quest 2, because I just realized that Quest 2 has a beta for Roblox. So she was playing that earlier, here a little bit earlier. But yeah, this one kind of can be a little concerning, but we can see that Roblox is looking to expand beyond that little kid range. And really the thing to look for is, how do they separate and deviate and actually be able to verify these people's ages and whatnot? Because otherwise you're going to have a bunch of little kids having access to be able to one-on-one call with somebody within Roblox, which to me, that's kind of scary. And I'm not trying to make this like a, you know what I mean? Like, oh, raise the alarms or this or that. This is just something that parents and adults that know children that play this game should be aware of moving forward. And it's only going to get bigger audience-wise with the PlayStation coming to be able to do that and whatnot. So I just want to know what your guys' thoughts were on that. There were some other announcements that they made as well, but like those were a couple of the bigger ones that really stuck out to me.
Before we go, I will say this, because Retro says Roblox is cool. My son plays a Sonic game on it, and I'm thinking to myself, your son plays another game to play a Sonic game just to it is very funny to me. I'm just like, wow, it's like
they got everything, dude. I'll tell you guys a secret. I'm totally working on a game with my daughter in Roblox. We're building a game together.
Nice.
So
very nice.
Yeah.
But
I was like, this is cool.
I'm like, when it comes to the world of Roblox, because I'm an outsider when it comes to this, because I have no like
same
issue or not issue, but I don't have a foot to stand in this game, because I don't play it, and I don't think I ever really will. But it just feels like it just seems like a trap of some sort to me when it comes to because one of the biggest things that Roblox was trying to take care of for the longest of time was communication, because the communication between, because like they know the age limit on this game is like so sporadic, but mostly a lot of small kids play this game. Like a lot of small kids play it. So it's and I'm like, and then when you tell me about your daughter playing it and stuff, even when I was there, like I was saying before, that like some of these people I don't trust. Like I just don't trust, or because some of these people's names, it just kind of be like, it's like you don't know if like it's like the way you're talking, like they talk to you, you don't know if this person is just like a 40-year-old neckbeard that lives in his mom's basement or something like that. And that's the thing I'm really worried about all of this, is that how are they going to, because we've talked about their technology that they've been wanting, that they're implementing to make it safe for people to be talking and chatting and stuff with. but it's still the internet. You're trying to defend your game from the internet itself and so much predators and stuff like that. And that's why I just can't trust it, or I just can't see how to believe how they're going to make this. And now you're doing things like phone apps. You're doing phone apps in this game.
Right.
You're doing VR meta, like, so you can have your avatar and whatever and stuff now to be even more personal, to you. It's just,
right.
I don't even know, man. I don't even know what to think or believe or what to expect in this game, but I know that it really, if a child is playing it, I'd be like a hawk just to make sure that nothing's going to go crazy on that, to go crazy at this point, because I feel like something bad is just waiting to happen at this point.
Yeah. So Mr. Seven Figure said separate game for the age group for more adult features. And then someone asked, how are they going to, Mr. Seven Figures also said, age verification process. Check here if you're old enough. Seems like it might need a separate game for the age group for more adult features. So here's my issue with that. If I'm pretending to be a child and they said you need to verify your age, well, I don't have an ID. How would I do that? Right? Super simple to play into that situation. Are they going to have these children take photos of themselves and then those are submitted? And then a human is saying, yes, that's a child, that's a child, that's a child. I can just go on Google and find a photo of a child. You know what I mean? So,
Or AI photos.
right. Like the predatory part of this freaks me out a little bit just because we know what's happened previously. And again, there are grown-ups and adults who are creating games inside of Roblox for these kids, and that's fantastic. But that doesn't mean that there aren't grown-ups in this game pretending to also be kids who are trying to talk. And I feel like giving your children that feature opens you up for more. It's like leaving your window open during a hurricane is how it feels to me, right? So I guess obviously this hasn't come to fruition, so we don't know if there's not going to be an age verification. Are parents able to lock it down so that only people that they approve can be on those phone calls? I would assume as much, because that would be the simplest answer. It's great that Roblox is doing so much. It looks really cool. And Davis, you're right, there are a lot of kids. Danny, she goes and she plays a Sonic game in Roblox too. And probably the same one. She has a lot of fun. But she is also not wary of the internet as we are. And she kind of goes into a subcategory, but she's so willing to trust everyone that really scares me. And she's starting to learn what lying means and things like that. And so we kind of had a discussion the other day because she's like, I lied to you. I'm like, great, tell me why and let's discuss this, right? But I don't know, it freaks me out a little. Again, Roblox is really cool for the kids. I'm glad they enjoy it. It looks like they're doing a lot of really comeuppance, and that's awesome. What are you guys going to do to protect the kids?
So Retro says, I think that any game where adults and kids can interact can be dangerous without proper moderation. As Davis said, it is the internet, and the internet can be dangerous for children without proper moderation. And Mr. Seven Figures says, no age verification like 2FA to show you have a phone number or something. It's still tricky to add features like that to a children's game. So I did notice there is an ID verification within that. And I think that's when if you're using those features, you have to, which is a whole other thing in its place, because now you have my ID on record or on file. You know what I'm saying? So that's also weird in a weird space, but it seems like that is something that they're already utilizing to have that concrete separation, which I feel like would be a little more difficult for somebody to game around, as opposed to it being something like just click a button, send in a picture or whatever. It's got to be some sort of official documentation. So,
certificate, I assume, then for little kids.
Well, but here's the thing though, and it's but the thing like what Witcher was saying, it's like it's cool with simple moderation. I mean, like you always want to monitor your kids regardless, so definitely understand that. But like I mean, come on, like there's certain games where it's like there's games that you know that you shouldn't be having kids play, like GTA or Red Dead Redemption, all these different kinds of ones and stuff. But then you have a game that's supposed to be that is made or meant to be for kids, and then to open up the creativity, by kids. Like it's like ground zero of like these people are going to be like, this is going to be a large prepubescent amount of people, like just a cesspool of just children just right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you are straight up targeting them to possibilities of people to take to either take advantage of or to do crazy things in weird messages and stuff, because I'm pretty sure Roblox has had problems with that in the past, but they've been really good on enforcing it because they were really strict on the communication lines towards that. Now you're removing those restrictions slowly but surely, and now you're going to have an even harder time to try to keep up that kind of facade of like not having that kind of protection anymore. And that's where it's like Roblox, you did a great job protecting the children then. Now, like, to say that, like, unfortunately I just don't trust that you can have that same kind of like power when you're going to allow voice chat, VR stuff like that, VR avatars, I'll be able to be you, and also line limits. Like you said, there's going to be a 17 and over section where people can easily lie to saying that they are 17 when they're really not. And like even two-factor authentication is something, but it's not really something that's going to lock you out of the kids, but rather not getting your account compromised itself. So I just don't know. That's where it's like where it's going to be a little shaky for me, especially when your kids are your kid is kind of getting up to the tween age almost, and it's like where it's like people's going to be you don't know if they're telling you everything or and all this different kinds of stuff. I mean, that's the thing kind of scares me a little bit.
That's why I'm gonna play it.
Oh no, I think what you're planning on doing is perfect. Exactly what you have to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people do that. Is where it comes down to.
Right.
And then I think that's where it's like I don't trust.
Yeah, and Ravage makes a good point. Unfortunately, predators are gonna be predators no matter what or when it is, and I agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the difference with Roblox is you're essentially, imagine it as a convention and everybody there is under the age of 13, right? And as a predator playing GTA or whatever other game, that's great, and that's going to take you a lot of time to figure out who's in the age range you're looking for. When over at this convention, I know that 90% of these players are under the age of whatever, right? So it's kind of like, as a parent, alarm bells go off a little bit. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious how they're going to really lock that down. And somebody had mentioned in the chat, like a parent hub would be great. I absolutely
That
agree,
would be
especially if you have
great.
multiple
Yeah.
children who are playing this game, and or maybe it comes to the point where the parents are the ones who have to show their ID and sign their
Right.
children up under
I would
them
love,
under
to
that
be able to
hub.
have
That would
like
be cool.
accounts underneath.
Yeah.
Or like a main account or whatever, and like
And
have
so
them like
you're
Nintendo
receiving
does.
the messages that they're
Yeah.
getting, and you're able to monitor
Yes.
them, right?
That's a
Not
great
just
idea.
keywords, but if Danny's getting a message, I'm her parent, I'm also getting those messages, and I'm getting
Mhm.
notifications immediately to those messages, especially if it's from somebody that I don't know, which I don't think
Yeah.
that should be possible at all. They're kids. They shouldn't be getting random messages from anybody. But
Mm-hmm.
I digress. We'll
I
see.
mean, that's pretty much what it's going to be. I mean, like, it's like good for them on them expanding, but like at the same time, it's like it's just that's always been the main concern I had with Roblox itself. But
I kind of agree with Mr.
is-
Seven Figures saying like, if this was like a spin-off product, like I would like it to be something. I mean, it'd be cool if it was something that was separate completely and wasn't a feature within that whole architect or
Infrastructure.
architecture, or not architecture, infrastructure. Yeah. I would like it to be an outside thing that, again, still connected, but not directly connected to the main thing. Something that's an offshoot that can only be accessed by you have to go out and search and get it, and it ain't easy to do. not that they're making it super
Right.
hard, but something that, you know, a child's not gonna be like, oh, let me, which again, kids aren't dumb
Yeah.
either, you know what I mean? So like, they're gonna find it. They're gonna find it, whether we like it or not. So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of what kind of protection and verification process that they put forward with it. But yeah, the TLDR, they had a conference. It's coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 next month, and they're bringing an in communication app where it uses your phone camera to project your avatar, and you could talk in real time with people in the game. They're saying it's for folks that are 17 plus. But again, there's, you know, they're even talking about they're going to start allowing 17 plus rated experience with violence, blood, and or crude humor as well. So
yeah. Jesus, okay.
You know, if you Roblox, man, that's their kids. That's the way the kids communicate and hang out these days. A lot of them, and they use it. They can have all the experiences they want in there. So
I really like
just.
I really like Lex's idea with the parent account. Like if they did,
Hey, come on with like $1 million. No, somebody else said it, right?
Somebody said a parent hub, and I branched off of it. So Mr. Seven Figures, another $1 million idea. Let's go, buddy.
A game like that, or any games like that requires like that, you know, that's just gonna where your population is mostly children should require something like that. I think
call it Roblox.
Boblox.
What do you call it?
Boblox.
We'll call it Boblox. That's it.
Folks, thank you for listening to the CFG Game Cast episode number 190. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. As always, we will be back again next weekend with a whole new set of different kinds of topics. But if you did miss out on this episode, that is perfectly okay. We release it at the beginning of each and every week on all podcast services, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to check it out on the Monday or on Monday morning as well. So there's absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices.